Welcome to another GCBASIC tutorial. This is part 2 for the PIC18FxQ35 chip family. And what we're going to do is sequence some LEDs. So part 2, sequence the LEDs, quite simple. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It all helps. So Q35, I won't be showing this anymore. It's essentially a high performance PIC18. It's relatively new. It's got digital analog, ADC, lots of communications, which we'll go through, pulse width modulation, CLC, integrated stuff, lots more. Comes in many different devices. We're going to look at what I'm using very shortly. So we're going to make 4 LEDs flash in sequence. And this really shows some details of the GCBASIC approach. So what is GCBASIC? It is a compiler for PICs, AVR, and LGT microcontrollers. For those who don't know, LGT is a Chinese clone of the AVR, much faster chip. And it now supports the Q35 chip family. So we now support over 1,440 microcontrollers. Okay, I'm assuming that you've got GCStudio installed and that you've got the latest updates. You might see a screen like this. There's a new version available. If you subscribe to the SourceForge forum, etc., you will get an update that looks like this. Then go and get that update. You've installed your programming software and you've got it attached and you're talking to it. And that's the easy stuff, okay? What I'm using an old 2010 PICDEM demonstration board, and I'm only going to use number 9, 4 LEDs connected to port D. The rest of it we'll peel back and look at in other demonstrations. Essentially what I've got is this circuit, and this is a really good circuit actually, because you can peel this back and use this as a reference design. It's a really good design. And what I'm doing here, I'm going to connect 4 LEDs, and they're here D2 to D5, and they're connected to RB0 to RB3 through some suitable resistors. And as we go through these demonstrations, we'll keep adapting and showing different parts of the circuit that we're using. I'm using a 40-pin device because that's the one that they gave me. So let's have a quick look at what we've got here. This is actually where we left it previously. We got an LED flashing here, and what we're going to do is make these flash in sequence. So this is the board. It's got lots of things on it, and I'm using a big chip here. It was just what they sent me, and it was very useful because it went straight into this board, which is fantastic. 46Q35. And that's where we left it previously, and we'll press on into what we're going to do. So we're going to make those 4 LEDs flash in sequence. So we're going to learn some logic. We're going to use about variables, lots of different things. But it also shows underpinning that, it shows that the compiler is working for this chip. So what we're going to do is initialize the board and the chip effectively. We're going to set the first LED. We're going to wait, do a delay, rotate the LEDs, the values of the LEDs, and if it's greater than 4, do something, and if it's less than 4, rotate. And just keep doing that rotation. So we just go through delay, rotate, reset if it's greater than 4, otherwise delay, rotate, delay, rotate, delay, rotate. So it's quite a simple process. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this code, and it's actually in the demo vendor boards PICDEM 2 plus board in 18F. That's where I kind of keep them all. So rotate with the delay. We're going to look at using constants, rotate, and some simple logic. Let's go through it. I'm pressing Windows, GCS for GCStudio, and on my computer, it's top of the list. We'll fancy that. It opens the GCStudio dialog there, and we will zoom in on that just so you can see it. Is there anything else I should be showing you in here? Let me have a look. Now, what we didn't see, you can clear the list down, which is the list of open recents, and I'm going to open it slowly so that you can see how I'm doing it. Now, I am going to open a local folder, and that folder will open up all the demonstrations. And I could click this over here. I'll do that in later. Now, open local folder, and I've got it already. It's already memorized here. I've got them in a particular place. So you should read this as your demonstration folder, vendor boards, PICDEM, 2010 board 18F, and I'm going to select OK. It takes me directly to where we left it previously. Okay, so look, you can't read what's on the screen here because I'm going to show you something here. Control plus, when you're actually in there, I wasn't, zooms in. Control minus zooms out. These are very useful things. So we'll leave it like that. That's about right. And we're going to shut down these two windows, this bottom window here that's open. Control J gets rid of that one, or you can click on it. And I'm going to just shut down that code that was open. That's where we left it, because what we're going to do is use 040 rotate the LEDs. So we'll click it to open it. I'll just do that again slowly. If I click it once, notice at the top here on the tab, it's in italics. You're not actually in an editor there. You can compile from there. You can do other things in there, but you're not actually in the editor per se. You're just viewing it, and it gives you access to do things. So I can, if I go back to my previous demonstration, it's in italics. I can still program the board. It still does it, but I'm not actually editing it, which is interesting. Just a way. I'll shut down that little button there, and it's put us back to where we were yesterday in the previous video. Rotate the LEDs, click, will then open up formally, and the cursor moves to the last place you were in that file. So here we go. Control B to get rid of that list of files. And here we go. I'm going to come back to this later on. The VDDIO is critical. It is critical, but not at the moment. Okay, I've got my chip defined. As I said in the previous video, that will set up a series of things. That will set up the oscillator for you, and it will set all the ports to digital inputs. Does it automatically? It will default to the fastest frequency, and we looked at that yesterday in terms of using different frequencies with a parameter. Option explicit, define your variables. And this is the little diagram I'm using, and I've got 4 LEDs on port B. And this is port B. Remember, anything in green is comments. Now, you can use all different styles of comments. You can use, let me just show you, you can use C style, STYLE. You can use oldie style. You can use a semicolon. You can use a single quote. They are all valid. Why are they valid? Because this language is developed over the last 20 odd years, and it started off with REMs, and now we've gone to C star. And C star gives you block comments. So this is a block comment here. I've started my block of comment, and I've ended it here. It just allows you better commentary. Okay, so we saw this yesterday, and we define a constant, that's a name, and then something that we want to use as that constant. So wherever the compiler finds this constant, it will replace it with the value that is following. Therefore, LED D0 will always be equating to port B.0. I define 4 constants, and then I set those 4 constants as outputs, because I'm actually going to raise the line as an output, a digital output, high and low, by setting it out. Oh, we've got some code. Now, So what this program is going to do is rotate a variable. So how do I define a variable? I define a variable here. It's dim, as in dimension, and I'm going to define a variable called LEDs with a lowercase s. It's case insensitive as a byte, and then I declare that as a value of 1. And I've used binary 1. I can put 1 in, I can put hexadecimal in, or I can leave it as binary. So you've got different ways of defining the LED. You can also initialize things as this, as dim, and it's in red so to remind me, dim LEDs as a byte, and then I can assign the value straight to it. And in the code, we'll see that. You can see that happening. I declare another variable and then set that value as 0. It is not safe to assume that if you just dimension a variable, it will be 0, because unless you've reset the chip, the RAM will be whatever it was previously. On the AVRs, the RAM is cleared down, but historically, that's not something that was implemented. So we've got two variables, LEDs, and we're going to use that to position or to tell the compiler and then the microcontroller which port to turn on and off. And here we go. We've got a do loop, and we can see in here there's a do loop and it's linked together in the IDE. And like I say, set the whole of port B to the LEDs, whatever that value is, just bang it in. So it's set to essentially 0001 initially. It will turn on the first LED. Then what I'm going to do is do a rotate, and a rotate will move the variables. We'll rotate the variables to the left. So what was in one place, it will just rotate it along. It's effectively a multiply by 2. But I'm going to just move it to the left, which means 001 becomes 0010. I increment our counter here. You can do a +1 or a +1 is the best way. You can do this. This is a +1 as well. It's like a C based. You can do that, but we'll keep it simple. +1. And if it's rotated it more than 4 times, it will reset the LED variable back to 1, binary 1. It will set the rotate counter to 0, and then it will wait 100 milliseconds. Function key F. Let me see if I can get everything on the screen here again. Here, great. Function key F5 to compile that program. Compiling it up. And as you can see, we have 4 LEDs moving in time. So why don't we slow that down so we can see it happening? I'm going to use 1 second so we can see the LEDs moving across. Every 1 second it moves. As I said yesterday, you can run that at different frequencies, and the compiler will automatically calculate the 1 second delay for you. And if you press the help, you'll see all the different units. But what's crucial in here, we are seeing port B being set by the value of the variable. So I'm taking a piece of RAM and I'm putting it into a register. I'm rotating the RAM to the left. I'm rotating it. So I'm shifting the bits along, tracking my little counter here. And then I'm just ensuring that it doesn't roll off the end. It could roll off if I had more LEDs, I would change the rotate count. So we're going, let me just count through 0, 1, 2, 3, increments to 4, therefore it resets back to 0. Simple logic, but it's showing many different concepts here. We're seeing the use of constants, let me just check that. We are using constants here to set the as outs. We're using variables to set a register. And these are key terms that we'll be using. Let's look at the outputs. I can press function key F7 or function key 4, and I can press open as them. And we'll look at the assembly that's been produced. And essentially, here is the program down here. I'll just go down to the do loop. Here is the do loop here. And it's saying, in assembly, move the LED RAM address to port B, increment the RAM, and you don't have to worry about the assembly. Depending on what chip it is, that instruction will be treated differently, but for this particular chip, that is the correct one. We're adding 1 to the rotate count by incrementing it. For this particular chip, that's the way it does it. It does a check by inspecting against your constant number 4 against the RAM variable, checks the status, and if it turns to be true, which is therefore greater than 4, it will then reset everything. And at the end, it says here, do a wait, it calls the delay routine, and it will branch back to the beginning, which is the beginning of our loop. All that is done from those simple commands, and this assembly will be different for every chip that you try. And so I'm just cursoring down, it was different from every single one. Let's look at the other files we've got. And the last time we'll be looking at the files is revealing a file explorer. You get in the build directory, the .build directory. I will zoom in on my desktop for you. You get the assembly file, the CDF file, which is the constant definition file, the hexadecimal file itself, the HTML output file, which has got the compilation report and the variable map. And this is used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables. I shouldn't have counted that because I think that's listed somewhere. No, it's used 2. It's used 2. Oh, you can't see that. Let me just. Here we go. I'll zoom in. It's used 2 bytes of RAM, but it actually has different variables in there, and the compiler is quite intelligent. It knows when it's using the same RAM, and it does all sort of caching and clever stuff like that. But essentially, the 2 that we created were LEDs and rotate count. They're at a particular shared RAM address, and they sort of work. Subroutines called. 4 subroutines called main. That's the main one that you've written. Init.sys is automatically added and got the setup, and then the 2 delay ones for seconds. If you've only got you'll get 2. Delay milliseconds, delay seconds is the way it counts. So, what are we saying? Really simple program, great capability. LEDs rotating. Oh, let's have a. There's the desk cam there. If you're wondering what this little white bit is here, that is a piece of foam so that you can see the LEDs, big bright light up above me. It would prevent you from seeing it. So back to PowerPoint. What we're going to do in the next video, the next tutorial, is an ADC here. We are going to change the rotation speed of the LEDs by using the ADC module. So we're increasing the capabilities as we move through. And with that, enjoy.